Yo, good evening. Oh my gosh, SGL Online Spoiler Log Tournament already happening for brackets. This is actually really exciting. And look at that, just like last previous years for SGL, we've got some webcams going on for the bracket stages online. So we've got mooglecharm versus relkin. This is, I believe, the top one seed, Relkin, versus I think top 16 versus mooglecharm. So it's going to be a really exciting race. It's not quite the first bracket match, I believe, of the tournament, but I believe it's the first restream one. So it's going to be quite the treat for us tonight. I'm joined, of course, by fellow bracket qualified Matt798. Matt, how's it going?
I'm good. You're right. I forgot about the cameras. It's the
Yeah,
best
this is
part
gonna be
about
awesome.
SGL, seeing people's reaction, especially from spoiler. Look at these guys. Look at how
I
hard they're
know.
thinking. Looking at this log right now. This
I
is
know, this is
unbelievable.
intense, right? Yeah, I 100% agree. And yeah, speaking of those, so right, these guys are at spoiler lock, which means that they get to know where everything is. But of course, the tricky part is they've got 15 minutes to figure out how to get everything that they need and or want in order to, of course, hopes in this case to have a good survival rate as well. Our awesome tracker, Arturo, has already pre-marked on our trackers what the pendants and crystals are because, well, this guy's got the spoiler lock, so there's no reason in this case to, to do a map check for us.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. Like, only 16 people were qualified into this tournament, so everyone is very good. Like, Moogle's the 16 seed, but he won the Pilot Spoiler tournament with Gamachu.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you know he knows what
totally.
he's doing when it comes to like reading and parsing the spoiler log. And Relkin, obviously the number one seed, his qualifier score is like 103, which is unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
actually, right.
that's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, actually, I think Relkin actually won like at least like two qualifiers, right? That he was in, something like that. Like I know he won a lot. So, and yeah, you also bring up a very good point. Just in terms of the routing, actually Moogle's actually a very high contender or good opponent for Relkin, just because Moogle, as you said, was in this case winner of the pilot spoiler, and he was, I believe, primarily the pilot. So certainly has very good routing instincts.
Yeah, and like routing is not a simple task. Like being able to put together a cohesive route and knowing how to get places the fastest and knowing the right order to do things in and being able to do it quickly and then following that route is a very difficult skill that can take some time to acquire.
Yeah, and especially actually, right, a lot of times, for spoiler logs, right, you really care about, in this case, like the big ticket items, right? We actually saw Relkin hop in the well, get a hook shot, mooglecharm, and of course Relkin both got, their flute from Blindside. You also did, in this case, see Relkin and Moogle pick up a couple bombs from Blindside, a couple arrows, a couple heart pieces, because maybe it looks like, health may not be much of an option, at least early game. These are all like the little things that, especially when you're playing a regular seed, normally, right? You may take some of these things for granted because suddenly, when you only care about the major items, they don't, these things don't really come, as easily, right? You have to kind of go out of your way to consciously pick things up.
Yeah, seeing a bit of divergence already. It looks like
Yeah.
Relkin getting the Tavern heart container. Well, Moogle is saying no, he is taking the red line. I like this.
Yeah, it seems pretty aggressive actually already on Moogle's part. Relkin also got the red boomerang. It looks like from the well as well for Moogle. So maybe there's a little bit extra safety, or maybe the sun prize is actually something good.
Yeah, even more divergence here. We see both runners going up Death Mountain right away. So Moogle going into Spectacle Rock Cave. We'll see what he gets out of there. It looks like Relkin is taking his hookshot and bombs over to Paradox Cave. I mean, they could be both going back and forth. It doesn't really matter too much. I see we got a sword here in Spec Rock Cave. That's a pretty good item to get.
Yeah. Early sword, never gonna complain. Especially in Spoiler Lock, that is actually probably one of your primary, offensive weapons. Moogle, I mean, and actually, by the way, this is gonna be another one of those things where early health especially could actually take into a factor. Moogle didn't take the heart container from the back of the tavern, right? He is, after the bomb jump, he is on 2 hearts. Death Mountain is not really a place you want to be, when when you're on kind of such low health here.
Yeah, looks like Moogle's going to be okay. So I some nice safety in Paradox Cave with those 2 heart containers. I see we picked up a shovel. We'll see what that leads to. And also a bow.
Yeah, interesting. Relkin actually opted to not pick up the Spec Rock Cave sword. Just ended up saving quitting. So maybe there's another sword out there available for Relkin. Maybe he's gonna go back later. Certainly, I mean, these are gonna be sometimes potentially like the little things that will actually make, you know, quite a bit of difference, especially in the early game.
Yeah, we've seen Relkin beeline immediately for the shovel check. I mean, obviously, spoiler, if he's picking up the shovel, it's got to be something.
Right,
So
right.
it makes a whole lot of sense. And like the beginning routing in this is the most crucial part. Being able to kind of, oh, say, okay, I see we have another
All
sword.
right, I
That
see.
makes sense.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Being able to sequence this correctly, like once you get all your items and you hit go mode, it often doesn't really matter what order you do the dungeons in. But the early game sequence of the order where you collect your items is usually very critical,
Mm-hmm.
and small things that you don't even really realize can cost you like 40 seconds, which doesn't seem like too much in a normal rando race, but these spoiler log races are always really tight, and 40 seconds is a massive amount of execution to make up.
Oh, yeah, right. Especially in this case, you know, there's no like, oh, well, we're gonna go on a 30-minute ice rod hunt, you know, where is this thing? And it could just be a coin flip, right? No, you know where everything is. There is no question about, you know, where things are. So basically all left, especially, you know, mid to late game, right? Yeah, as you mentioned, just only execution. And, you know, when the average, you know, finish times for the play portion you know, of these is probably like, I don't know, like 45, 50 minutes. Yeah, 40 seconds is, you know, that's a lot of time to make up.
Yeah, you saw like a small mistake there by Moogle. I think he kind of forgot where he was going, but now both guys heading down to Mini Boldorm Cave. You saw Relkin get that fortunate full magic drop in Paradox Cave, whereas Moogle is finding another full magic drop for Relkin. But whereas Moogle is spending some time farming some magic to being able to use, I'm not exactly sure what, considering he has no magic weapons, but I'm sure he's got plans for that.
Yeah, Relkin also. Alright, so Relkin's the first one into Mini Boldorm. Looks like. Yep. Moogle going to maybe make it. Not. Oh, not
Oh,
quite. Not quite. So gonna have to get some match another time. But yeah, also Relkin, you know, picking up a couple extra arrows as well. Just another, you know, resource management is paramount, you know, in Spoiler Log Seas, because you don't really want to be in a situation where, you know, maybe like you go fight, you know, Vitreous, right, and Meyer, and you're just like, oh no, I need more arrows, and then suddenly you don't have any.
yeah, this is interesting. So we're seeing Moogle going to get his Moon Pearl, it looks like, whereas Relkin's
Oh,
fake
right,
flippering
yeah.
into Waterfall Cave. We saw them pick up a bottle. I forget what was in it, but they know
Potato.
what
Mhm.
Waterfall gives you. So, okay, see, we have a lamp and some
Oh,
money.
and
That's kind
money,
of nice.
yeah. Right, the bottle they picked up was a bee in a bottle. Not sure if it was a good bee or not. Probably doesn't matter in this case, if especially Relkin's fluting away, so I'm assuming Zora is nothing.
Okay, this looks like Relkin going to collect that Master Sword.
Oh, what? Just barely made it through the dead rocks.
I see Moogle we have going into Pendant Eastern.
Oh, perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. Pendant Eastern.
To answer Chad, the Moon Pearl was in Sahasrala's Highs. Yeah, I kind of agree with GFE. This is looking more and more like an Egg Seed. Going on your way to pick up the lamp and two swords in this kind of strange order, like going up to the mountain twice, really feels like they're just collecting items to get to the Dark World. He's picking up the big key, so that's kind of telling. Either an item in the big chest or on Armo's Knives.
Yeah, potentially maybe not have to go beat the dungeon, but I guess, you know, this case, as you said, it's could be the big chest. Maybe that's like the best case scenario. But maybe in this case, Pendant Eastern also does have something for us on the boss itself. Moogle, of course, not picking up that lamp may or may not be telling in this case, maybe like whether or not he needs to beat the dungeon. But I think for this particular loader, he's probably okay if he needs to do the dark room.
Yeah, for sure. We see Relkin heading there as well, so I guess we'll find out what goodies they have awaiting them in Eastern Palace. So it looks like we're going to the big chest. Okay, well, that makes beating the dungeon a little bit easier. It looks like there is something else in here.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, looks like, yeah, so especially with that fire rod pickup, yeah, that lamp automatically now is not going to be too much of an issue. Maybe actually that's what Moogle was potentially looking for, that big magic drop. So in this case, there's not really a lot of magic in Eastern Palace itself. But of course, one fire rod shot makes that dark room a whole heck of a lot nicer.
Yeah,
And
the
especially,
real
yeah, in Spoiler Log, right, you're facing, you're facing Relkin, you're facing, mooglecharm. You don't really want to, I guess, be caught off guard or spend extra time in the dark room.
Yeah, like after getting absolutely robbed of his magic in Mini Moldorm Cave, Moogle
Mhm.
Moogle got amends by getting it
Yeah.
off that Popo.
Yeah, just in time, really. Alright, so potentially, I mean, not quite NMG-esque, but, with no boots, Eastern, means that, the movement probably is going to be, somewhat more familiar with people. Not to mention, of course, the,
Moogle only
pretty
firing 4
standard,
arrows
yeah.
there. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, good. He
Just
cleaned it
made it.
up. Okay, nice
Oh,
cane. Okay.
wow. Okay, well, Pendant Eastern is apparently the place to be. Good value at Eastern. Not sure how people feel about this, if you don't have the spoiler log, but it's here.
All right, so where are we going now? Oh, yeah, right. He's got to go to his Moon Pearl. I see. This is kind of a different ordering. I saw him mention in chat. It is interesting that Relkin went to Hostrala, got his Pearl, and then came back. I don't think it makes that much difference because he did get a glove and he was able just to go up the right side. Maybe he wanted the lamp for Eastern. I'm not sure. I don't think
Yeah,
Relkin
that
really
right.
needs the lamp knowing he was getting the fire rod, but you
Yeah,
never
that
know.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's actually a good point, because in this case, in order to water walk, right, or sorry, to fake flipper, you need the moon pearl. So maybe that's what Relkin really wanted. He didn't want to maybe spend the extra time in order to take the fire rod shot. But yeah, that's a very interesting point of divergence.
Yeah, seeing Moogle get the lamp as well. And even if they don't absolutely need this lamp, having the 300 next to it is actually quite nice. Like having all your money needs taken care of and getting a lamp at the same time can really make this worth if it's not an Egg Seed, but it's really looking like an Egg Seed.
Right, yeah, and especially, yeah, pod money now is no longer an issue. With the extra 300, you can also maybe buy a potion if you really need to. Certainly no stranger to in order to pick up a safety or two, because, especially for spoiler log, even in the late to end game, your health is probably not necessarily in the best of shape, nor magic for that matter, so never really hurts to have an extra safety, like potion in your back pocket.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we must be going to Egg
Okay,
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
looks like it.
We've all geared up. They're both going to the same place. So everything kind of evened out. It looks like, does Moogle have anything or Relkin have anything that Moogle doesn't? I don't think so.
No, I think they went to the same places, yeah.
So it's looking like Moogle's early game was a little bit more efficient than Relkin's, maybe showing off some of that prowess from the pilot
Yeah.
spoiler experience that he has.
Yeah. Well, Moogle is down, looks like 1 or 2 heart containers, back at the tavern. But also then Moogle, I think, made a, very slight, like, miss flute earlier, so maybe those things even out a little bit. But yeah, just a handful of seconds ahead going to Aga Tower.
Yeah, I guess it is like about a tavern and a one chest and upper paradox difference.
Alright, so unfortunately, we don't have the boots, so it's not going to be quite, the NMG, level of equipment, although, but the good side is that we do have Master Sword, at least, so it's not like Fighter Sword plus Cape, and, we also do the Fire Rod. Always kind of nice to be able to, like, one-shot a couple guards, if you really need to.
Yeah, for sure. That fire rod does help out a lot. Especially, you see Moogle getting a little low on health. And you get a refill after the dungeon, so it's not like wasting all this magic makes a difference.
Yeah, Moogle is getting a little bit bullied, though, by the guards. I saw 0 chest turns, though, Matt. I'm pretty disappointed.
I was quietly very disappointed as well. I'm going to have the Relkin and I are going to have a conversation later, but...
Moogle also putting, and Welkin, for that matter, putting that hook shot to pretty good use.
Yeah, both guys. Oh, nice strat. Yeah. Getting the key from both of them. That was pretty slick, I gotta say.
Nice.
And that fire rod to good use now. Interesting strategy in this room for Moogle. I think what Relkin's gonna do. Oh, Relkin kind of messed up too, so it's not kind of even.
Right. I was actually wondering if either one's gonna do Circle of Pots with the like boomerang.
Yeah.
Looks like Relkin, you know, with that 124 NMG skill, right? Lots of practice, slowly but surely overtook the lead. Just in
That's
terms of
true.
execution.
Relkin also got better RNG in that room. He had the guard going down, whereas Moogle had the unfortunate guard going left, which makes it a little bit more challenging.
Alright, so unlike NMG, however, as both of our players going to rush into Aga, the number of blue balls and I believe Aga patterns are fixed, so it's not like we're gonna see, you know, like a 3 versus 11 blue balls, which we've seen in many an NMG matchup before.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So they both have a bow, but no hammers, and they both got money. So are we going to pod? But they also got a glove and a hook shot. So are we going to East Dark World? There's really no clue from the items right now what the requirement is next.
Yeah, and of course, you know, looking at our trackers marked down, you know, pod is a crystal. You know, Thieves Town, Skull Woods are also crystals. So certainly we have to go to both areas eventually. But yeah, not quite sure in this case where you would have to go for your next piece of progression.
Sturgia, we could be going to Catfish. That's another option. Yeah, so you notice we have not collected the boots yet, so the boots must be somewhere in the Dark World.
I'm pretty sad. Okay, all right, Matt. And there is a correct answer to this. When you do a spoiler, you know, when you first start up routing, what is the first item you search for?
You press Control F and then BOO.
Correct.
And then
that is the correct answer. I'm glad. That's why you're probably the 4th seed for this.
And then if it says Ganon's Tower, you press the forfeit button.
I like where this is going. For what it's worth, you know, the one of the qualifier seeds I did look, or maybe practice seed, I saw booster in GT and I had to keep going to route, and then like nothing else, you know, came out that was good afterwards. So certainly very understandable.
Yeah. All right, where are we going, guys?
All right, nope, not even a pyramid peak. Not that these guys either care about it, but all right.
Okay, looks like by that movement, we're not going to pod. So is it Catfish or is it West Dark World?
Ooh,
yeah, looks like we're hooking across. Let's see, we're lockstep here.
All right, Moogle. Ooh, quick swapping over to that to the bottle. Looks actually we have 2 bottles. But yeah, it was actually a good B. But Moogle looks like he is not interested in even keeping either a single B to his name.
Mog step. Okay, I'll make sure to use that from now on. All right, where are we going, guys? There's a slow walk to the village. They know where they're going, but
I agree. By the way, we're just skipping Skull Woods, which is also the correct play in spoiler log or in non-spoiler logs. Good decision, guys.
Okay, this looks like a chess game. Is that what we got here? All right, what do you got? Chess game. This is a good location to go to because sometimes you get like a little something, a little hundo or bomb or something. It's like Moogle got the 100. That's kind of nice. Okay, it's the mitts. So instant save and quit. Interesting that you get the mitts in village and go to nothing else in the village. Where are we going now?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. So maybe up the mountain?
8? Are we going to Ice Palace?
Oh, we're going to Ice Palace? Oh, wow. Yeah,
With no hammer?
Oh my god. Well, this seed certainly is pretty... Already thinking about trying to just like play the seed without the spoiler log already makes me kind of cringe.
Excuse me, guys? What?
This is pretty brutal.
All right, Moogle opted to pick up looked like a blue goo. So does that mean we're finding the hammer? Because I don't see why you would pick up a potion unless you're fighting Coldstare.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, and the fact that they're on Master Sword, no half magic, you know, and of course, especially Moogle, he only has 5 hearts. Relkin's actually got a little bit more of a buffer just because he can actually maybe pick up an extra heart or 2, so he can, you know, potentially tank, you know, 1 hit from Coldstare, but Moogle doesn't have very much rope. But you know, on contrast though, Relkin's just diving right in, like no fear.
You think about potions though, let's see what's in the compass. Bombos. Okay, well that's our required medallion.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Need it for
So
Meyer.
I mean that makes sense. I guess you can get into Meyer right now, but Relkin is going deeper. So let's see what else we find here.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about getting potions is that you might as well buy it if you're gonna get them early, just so that you
For
don't
sure.
die before you get them. All right, what do we got here?
Get
Okay,
armor.
free
Okay.
blue mail. That's kind of nice. Semi-vanilla.
Yeah, and the bombos actually will potentially help on cold stare depending on how like comfortable you are on Master Sword. Maybe if you can maybe think about using a little bit of magic early on.
Okay, so we're getting the third item in Ice Palace. The question is, okay, Relkin's taking a moment to save and quit.
Oh, okay.
After walking, oh, was he not able to? He didn't have a small key, and he didn't have the hammer to get a small key. I guess he was looking at the log to see if a small key was in Spike Chest.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's a very good point. Does that mean the Moogle's gonna run into the same
Well,
issue?
yeah, he must, right? So I wonder what the third thing in Ice Palace is.
So this is one of the benefits that we see in this case with the camera, because we can
Okay, so
actually see.
Moogle's death warping, so he's going to go back through and do the Ice Palace bomb jump.
Very, very
Whereas
interesting.
Relkin
Yeah.
is leaving.
Yeah, maybe Relkin. Yeah, maybe Relkin's thinking about just cutting his losses.
I gotta say, I would 100% would have made the same mistake if I was these guys. This is a tough situation because you don't. It's really hard to think like, oh yeah, I need a small key. All right, so we're going to Meyer. So I guess that's what our bombos was for. So if the fact that Relkin left made me think that it's not the hammer in Ice Palace.
Yeah, in this case, right? Maybe. Well, then. Then like what when Moogle? Because this is a lot of extra time for just that third item. So this better be something good. If Moogle actually is sticking it out.
Yeah, for sure. And you think Hammer must be far away if it is something good, right? Because if Hammer's just in Meyer, like he could just go to Meyer, get his hammer, and come right back.
Yeah. So this is actually potentially. I mean, we've already got some pretty major divergence, in terms of like Relkin is in Meyer already. Looks like Moogle's gonna continue into Ice Palace. But depending on what's here, right? Actually, could be even further divergence here. Moogle is not having a good time here in Ice.
This is a terrifying Meyer dip, by the way. Relkin has horrible equipment to beat this dungeon.
Oh yeah, and no mirror means that there's no like real like easy travel, right? I was actually thinking maybe potentially if you want to leave Ice Palace, maybe go to the upgrade ferry. He's got plenty of money in order to maybe buy an arrow upgrade. But yeah, there is no option once you've gone into Ice.
Yeah, so we saw point out in chat as well. Moogle did not do the bomb jump, so we're definitely not getting the hammer in here. All right, Relkin, where are you going, dude?
Yeah, Relkin's also only on 2 hearts. He does have blue mail, but kind of at this stage, there are very few things that won't kill him in 1 hit. Okay,
so it looked like Moogle was thinking about going up, and then realized he didn't have a key. Okay, Relkin's bailing on the Vitreous fight. Okay, that's fair enough.
Alright, okay. Yeah, and Relkin pulled out the mirror, so very understandable. So at least that is going to be a lot more access. So the question is, where is our hammer?
Okay, where's Relkin going? I'm assuming, okay, he's going back up the mountain. So I'm assuming hammer must be in like Hera or something.
Yeah, Moogle on the other, meanwhile, Moogle is just having a really, really rough time here in Ice Palace. Ice Physics almost kind of got bitten by one of the shadow guards, shadow dudes. Man, this last item must be very, very important. Oh, it is the boots. All right, you know what? That actually might be worth it. Boots this early, honestly, like with only, 1 dungeon down, doesn't even look like we can actually defeat pretty much any other ones. Probably a good early time investment.
Okay, so I wonder if Moogle's gonna try and single dip Meyer. Because he did buy that potion. He does have blue mail, which helps a little bit, but doesn't really help that much for doing the boss fast. Okay, there's the hammer. That makes sense. Yeah, and and Moogle's still only on Master Sword. He doesn't actually have that many arrows to his name either, so it's not like he can kind of spend that on phase 1 of Vitreous, unless of course there's a like 10 pack or something somewhere in the second item for Meyer. Yeah, so he must be going straight back to ice now. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to. Yeah, with course, with hammer, Relkin can definitely finish up ice, and then he's gonna be able to get his third item. So potentially, this might be able to work out a little bit better for Relkin. And I guess for what it's worth, right? For spoiler log races, runners are allowed to watch the restream. They're allowed to watch their opponents if they so choose. Not sure if Moogle or Relkin has any desire to do so, but if they wish, they can actually kind of sense, get a pulse of like where their opponents are, and maybe make some decisions based on that.
Dude, with a seed like this, I think it'd be tough to watch the restream. So Moogle picking up that 5 arrow pack makes me think he's going for a victorious fight.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, right? Even though this is, of course, an Agassiz, Moogle does have the lamp, so at least the basement won't be as terrifying. We at least can be able to see where we're going. And of course we do the fire rod in order to do some spooky action here. But of course, does not preclude the still very difficult task that is ahead of Moogle, because he is only on 4 hearts. Hopefully he can get at least to full health, like 5 hearts, by the time he goes back into the basement, because, we really want to be able to have at least 4 hearts to be able to tank 1 hit, from anything, basically.
Yeah. So with Blue Mail, the difference between 5 and 4 is a little bit, but you're 100% right. You want to have this, because you want to be able to damage people off the goo, right? Okay, so Relkin, unfortunate for him, he had some trouble with the icebreaker, and like the fire rod shots he has are quite valuable right now if he's going to beat the dungeon, which I'm assuming he is. So he's going to have a bit of a tough fight ahead of him too, although he's got a decent amount of health.
Yeah, he also does have bombos, for what it's worth. I don't know if he's also interested in that, but yeah, anytime where you have, when you're on Master Sword, fighting Cold Stare is not potentially going to be a particularly good time.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened to Moogle there.
I also did not see that, but this alternate route makes me think that there was something also potentially that he did not intend to happen.
So Relkin didn't hit the switch. Did he get the big key? He must have gotten the big key.
I assume that he did.
There's too much going on with these two guys.
I know, right? And normally for a spoiler log, it's actually not as bad usually. There's
okay. Relkin got the big key. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, this is nuts. This is a crazy seed, actually. I'm really glad that I did not get this seed. These poor guys.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're gonna get some PRNG, for you later on, for whenever you guys schedule. Relkin, for what it's worth, did have a little bit of nicer time in Ice Palace in terms of execution. Didn't have to, I guess, maneuver as badly in terms of just like slipping and sliding, especially going over to Ice Tea. Relkin also does have full health, so he could do like the sword beam strats.
No, he has to use bombos. I think he might have 2 fire rod shots. It's really hard to tell, honestly. No, I don't think. Maybe 2. 2 if he's lucky.
It looks like 1, but of course, yeah, that bar can be deceiving.
Yeah, there's only 1. Okay, well, he's kind of got him in the corner pretty nicely.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good start, honestly. And Relkin, of course, he's got blue mail, so actually I think he can take 2 hits if he really needs to.
Yeah, if Cold Stare, you can. This is a pretty nice fight. Nicely done.
Yeah, damageless too.
Alright, speaking of terrifying boss fights, we got one coming up on the left side as well. This is going to be slow and extremely difficult. So look at the look on Moogle's face. He's just like, rage.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and only, again, 19 arrows. This is kind of one of those fights where, especially with Master Sword, very low health, the textbook NMG method is not going to be probably as good. Moogle's not even going to try and save the, 8 requisite arrows, for phase 2 of Vitreous. He's just trying to soften these guys up as much as he can. He doesn't
have bombs to kind of get him. He's doing a pretty good job so far.
He doesn't have the hammer either, though. So, like, even phase 2 for Vitreous, you talk about being slow, right? Like, he's maximum has Master Sword level damage.
Yeah, Relkin's not losing too much time coming back to Meyer with having to do this fight. Really nicely done. I mean, he's got a lot of spins ahead of him right now. I think it's like 16 Master Sword spins to take down the Eye. but like he's doing the thing. Like he's not dying. Non-dying is the the number one strategy in Spoiler Log.
Yeah, and he's got the he's got the potion out in his Y mine anyone just in case, but very nicely done on Moogle's side.
Beauty. What a beautiful fight that was. Like with his equipment and like he used all of his arrows. Like that was and under in that like situation, like well done.
Yeah, and also it's not necessarily actually just like let me just mash my mash the sword button like over and over. There's actually a rhythm to it. The fact that Moogle was able to keep that rhythm is actually that just shows like a testament, to his skill.
Yeah,
otherwise, like Moogle keep flying like everywhere.
Okay, we're gonna finish off Desert Palace here as well. Looks like there's something on the ledge. Okay, there's a cave. I guess it wasn't Egg Seed, right? Desert was available before. Before Aga, so it could make sense that some of these early items are here. I guess I'll look at the cape's not hard required for Aga, but it always seems to show up when it's an Egg Seed.
Oh, nice game knowledge on Moogle's side there too. Getting some extra arrows. Desert Palace, of course, is the quiver replenisher, just because you are coming here right after Eastern. But
well, I can try and hover this. Wow, he's really leveled his hovering if he's pulling this off.
Oh, not quite. Yeah, this is one of the hardest hovers in the game. So, Relkin can save this off. He can definitely save a good amount of time as well.
He didn't learn to hover that long ago. Wow, nicely done.
Nice, yeah. All for that small key too. So does that mean kind of like the other small keys are just kind of pretty terrible to get? Or maybe you have to go to the Bullock side for one.
Yeah, I'm assuming that must be the case. Alright, okay, flippers in Desert Palace. That makes a lot of sense. That cleans up our Aga 1 logic with the lamp in Waterfall Ferry. Okay, sword and harmless hellway. I guess that makes sense why you need extra keys.
Okay, so now Relkin's untempered. Something looks like to be so pretty comfy in just terms of execution. As mentioned, of course, Relkin is a newly minted 124 runner, so anything, of course, with tempered swords, and the bow is going to be really nice for the rest of the game. This
is a lot of divergence for a Spoiler Log race. I'm really enjoying this.
That's true. All for those boots too, basically. Moogle basically really wanted the boots in this case, and then led to, in this case, a single dip of Mire as a result, and then I think he just wanted to clean up everything else afterwards. Relkin actually wants to come back.
So we've kind of cleaned up everything here, right? The only thing we don't know the location of is the ice rod?
Correct.
So I guess we're kind of through all of the horrible forced Ice Palace double dip part of the seed.
Man, I don't know if it's just observation bias, but it's like every single time you see one of these, it's like, man, I'm so glad I have this Spoiler Log. Imagine playing this thing without one, and you're just spinning, you're spinning wheels basically trying to figure out like where all the items are.
Yeah, seriously. Alright, so I guess it probably makes sense for Moogle to go to Pod next, because his Tempered Sword's there. You kind of want to equip yourself. I guess he's got to get his hammer first, obviously, but after that.
Yeah, of course with the mirror, we saw the Relkin do this, nice shortcut way over, of course, to Ether Tablet.
Relkin, nice turtle party.
Yeah, not having some, great turtles. I guess they're up late. It is Sunday night. No one wants to go to bed early for Monday. Always wanting to extend that weekend just a little bit longer.
All right, we getting spin speed helmet? No, just a good old fashioned hammer helmet. I guess with tempered sword, it's pretty free either way.
Yep, free, and he's got blue mail, so not too much in terms of I guess survivability worries. 4 slashes, we're good.
Yeah, okay, we're seeing a nice pod play as well. Might as well get your tempered sword before Skullwoods or Ice Palace or really any of the remaining dungeons except for Thieves Town, where it doesn't really make a difference. So now Relkin is basically just go mode, decide what order you want to do the dungeons in. I mean, this ice rod's somewhere, maybe it's on the way, maybe it's not, but it's kind of irrelevant at this point.
Yeah. And of course, right, and like with the mirror, with the flute, right? Travel, I think, yeah, it's almost just like your preference for which dungeon you want to do at this point, right? And not necessarily like the overall travel time isn't going to matter too much. Looks like though Relkin's first stop is going to be Skullwoods / Thieves Town, or Village of Outcast area.
Yeah, and so like when it gets to this situation, I think the right way to do it is just like order it based on heart containers. If there's a free heart container in Thieves Town, that's the one you do first. Just try to maximize your health for the rest of the dungeons. I don't really know if there's like a half magic or something. I don't really know what is where. But Relkin's got pretty comfy equipment. What's that, like 7 hearts blue mail? That's kind of
yeah.
I think like a lot of the spoiler runners, that's kind of their goal is like get to 7 hearts blue mail, then I can really not think about any type of safety. And tempered sword.
Yeah, it's actually bringing up a good point, right? Because especially the potential early investment that Relkin made in terms of health, right, actually could have played influenced maybe a bit of his execution, right? I'm not sure in this case if it was actually the case with Moogle, but being only on 5 hearts, maybe he had to play a couple more rooms like more on like the cautious side, right? Especially in like Mire, right, where 1 hit basically means that you were basically that's kind of all you had in terms of comfort. So maybe Relkin just with that extra hearts or extra health just kind of basically was able to be more comfortable.
Yeah, health does equal speed. Like being able to not care about dying is very valuable. Even something like a fairy in a bottle that you never use is like super worth it to get because you just play going all out, which is the fastest and often the safest way to play.
Alright, there's Tempered Sword, yeah, for Moogle. Nothing really so far inside Thieves Town though. Relkin got the big key, and nothing else so far, at least on his route.
Alright, Moogle getting all the things he needed in pod. I guess he went to the Southwest basement and got the key, whereas Relkin hovered to the chest and got the key. I feel like that's kind of a wash.
Yeah, especially in this case when Relkin basically just got it what, 2nd try, so very, very little time spent basically.
Right, so I'm trying to think. It's going to be a long time before it converge. Because, like, Moogle's got to do ice, which he's going to do last, you would assume.
Yeah.
Moogle's hitting the switch a few times for good luck. That's
right.
And Relkin's got to do Mire, which he's probably going to do that last as well. Because he'll just do Mire Desert after Thieves' Skull. So I guess it's going to be a while before, because it might be frustrating for these guys, for like Moogle, right? He might be trying to think about routing in a safety or not, but like he probably has no idea if he's ahead or not, and like being able to watch the restream and not really have that information, especially when you're playing, it's hard to like try to work out where everybody's at.
Yeah, and especially even spoiler races are very, very high pressure. Not only for, especially on Moogle's side, kind of demonstrated this is a fairly low-ish % He's still only on 5 hearts. He does have blue mail though, but again, there are also like 50 different other things probably going on in his head, right?
Spoilers, it's so hard. Spoilers extremely challenging. It's kind of part of the reason why you didn't see that many people join this, just because it's really hard and you can look really stupid if you mess up. And it's just kind of the way it is, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I haven't died to Vitreous in 4 months, but I play Spoiler and I gotta fight him on 5 hearts. Nice, Rim. Relkin's pissed. Should have done that before something else. Because he could have done that with like Chess Game, I guess, and had it, but like still, you want the boost anyway. I don't know what he's so shocked about, but getting surprise mail is always kind of funny.
Yeah.
Maybe he just hates red mail.
He, maybe he thought he could have just left Ice Palace early or something, after he got bombos, who knows. Alright, there is Helmasaur down for Moogle, so that is, now, yeah, we're kind of getting to the quote-unquote, like, what, mid-game, as you said, we've pretty much gotten everything we needed, but it is just basically a dungeon rush at this point.
Well, Jiffy, you could have just played and not read the spoiler log if you like rando in your rando.
Didn't that happen, I think, once, where, I think in one of the qualifiers, somebody actually did not take a look at the spoiler log, and just play the scene normally, and it was, you know what, it just reinforces the fact that you really want to have a spoiler log for some of these scenes.
Fair enough. Alright, Relkin, I think you're taking that hit from that beetle on purpose to get rid of those beams, which makes sense.
Yeah. You don't get the normal quote unquote NMG damage boost off of like the bomb jump in order to get to the fire rod out of the big chest. So you gotta get a little bit more creative in terms of how you gotta lose your sword beams here.
Yeah, so I think Relkin has a bit of a lead. I think Ice and Thieves are slower than Mire and Desert. Plus, he's almost done Skull. But I'm not 100%
I'm
sure.
trying to think. Right, yeah. So Thieves Town definitely is, out of the remaining dungeons we have, is definitely like the longest. That is a very nice 8 out of 10 fight on Relkin's side. But I do think you're right, because even though Icebreaker is going to make, Ice Palace or the redip pretty fast, at least for Moogle, I think Relkin, after Mire Desert, I think is going to be a little bit ahead of at least getting the Ice Rod or going up to Turtle Rock or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, Relkin. Where you go? I'm assuming you're just going to Mire, but I'm going to ask where you're going.
So in Relkin's case, like, do you know if it's faster to do Desert first and then Mire, or is it just faster to do Mire than Desert?
You just do Mire first, because there's less mirror transitions.
Okay.
Okay, Relkin's making a liar out of me, but that's okay. Maybe he wants the cave.
I don't know.
This could be the cave.
Oh,
Right?
okay, yeah, that also makes sense. Relkin does have 7 hearts going into Vitreous. Of course, if he wants to do like the textbook, NMG version of damage boosting, well, it is probably enough health, at least for him to do it if he is going in with full health. But if he has the pit cave, right, it's gonna make the fight a lot nicer, and it's definitely gonna be much faster than Moogle's. Even though Moogle did like extremely nice job on his Master Sword / bow equipment.
Fair enough. So I guess the flippers were in the compass chest. They must have been. Like, why would Moogle pick up the flippers if they weren't in the compass chest? I wonder if Relkin will pick up the flippers just out of instinct.
I thought the big key was in the compass chest, but maybe I just misremember.
I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Map chest. Okay, that's interesting that he picked up the... So I guess the Ice Rod's not in Swamp Palace? Is that what this is telling us?
If they are, Relkin's gonna make a return trip back to the front of deserts.
Yeah, I guess it's fine. It's like it takes 2 seconds to go to the map chest, and if you mess up the fake flipper like once, it's like whatever. Plus, you can dash for a little bit instead of swim. It's like it's fine. I was just curious. It's something I could see myself doing. Like, I got screw fake flippering. Let's just grab these.
Yeah. And especially, as you mentioned, right, spoiler race, very high pressure situation, also could just be, how many times has it happened, right, when you flew to 8, you just dive straight in, you're like, oh yeah, I don't have the flippers.
That's true. I wouldn't trust myself to remember I don't have the flippers either, so.
Alright,
Relkin giving us a good view of the Mario getting hit sprite as he's getting accosted by this Igor.
Oh man, he got hit like 3 times by that guy. This is a new Waffle House, by the way, screen.
There you go. Alright, if Relkin was watching the restream, he could have seen what his landmill pattern was going to be from mooglecharm, which is another thing that is, I feel like, an under-talked about, because, I mean, it only really helps if you're behind. But in a seed like this, where there's a ton of divergence, you can watch the restream and you can see, like, what's my boss RNG for these fights, and you can make adjustments, and it is helpful. Like, if you're just behind going into Agate 2, and you can watch the Agate 2 patterns and, like, shave a cycle, it can make a huge difference.
Oh yeah, that, I mean, as you said, right, this is the seconds actually really do matter. All right, Moogle on his what, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6th crystal.
5th crystal.
Oh, 5th crystal. Oh yeah, that's right, we beat Eastern as a pendant. Yeah. And Relkin is going into Mire, which is actually his 6th crystal. So yeah, I think with all this said and done, even though Relkin does have a little bit of a longer path to get to the back of Mire, I think there's going to be still less time overall than Moogle's back of Skull Woods and 2nd trip into Ice Palace.
Yeah, Relkin is for sure ahead. It's just a matter of how much.
Alright, where do you think that Ice Rod is then, Matt? You think it's in Turtle Rock?
I don't know. It's got to be on the mountain somewhere, or like where else would it be, right? If it was in Village of Outcast, they would have got it. I'm trying to think of a location it would be where you wouldn't get flippers and it's not on the mountain.
Yeah, and they didn't get it after Skullwood, so probably not like North Dark World. Like I was thinking maybe like Graveyard Ledge or like King's Tomb. I don't know. I mean, you know, all that matters is like, do you trust Dunka's stats? You know, do you think it's in a Mimic Cave? Do you think it's a laser bridge?
Could be. Yeah,
Right.
Moogle taking down Moth. He got a little screwed by his beams there, but he was able to clean it up.
Yeah, no, I assume Relkin still keeps Spooky, at least trying to.
Yeah, he fluted back to the rock, so
Oh,
he
okay,
was able to
okay.
get it back from the Crystal Catching Desert.
Okay, so it's gonna be actually a little bit more time saved than on Relkin's side, because I think Moogle just kind of did the dungeon like the, you know, the pre-spooky, you know, traditional ways.
He has his cape ready in case he needs it. I'm assuming he won't, but you never know.
Yeah,
Okay,
nice
nice
attack spot.
Patriots. We will get that extra dash, taking full advantage of those flippers.
Exactly. I mean, you know, there's a reason why I picked up the flippers here. Alright, that is crystal number 6 on Relkin's side. Alright, let's see where this ice drought is. Where are we going? Yeah, Moogle's back in probably the, you know, quote-unquote, like, worst, I would say, like, dungeon for him in this particular seed, just because it seemed like it just caused so much trouble. For himself and Relkin, for that matter.
Yeah, Chad, Moogle does have red mail.
Yeah, so does mooglecharm. Because I think they both
Yeah,
got
they
the
both
mail
do, yeah,
from-
because
yeah.
Thieves Down handed to you.
Alright, so far, it looks like the ice rod is somewhere on the mountain, otherwise, you know, Relkin will have to make a small detour.
Yeah, going straight up to TR. Like I said, it wouldn't have mattered where it is, he probably would still do this. Nice icebreaker on Moogle's side. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the difference is. Like, Moogle's Vidi fight was pretty slow, but like going back in takes like a full minute.
Yeah, well, right. Now it's like also like Moogle also spent like a good amount of extra time getting the boots. Like it was, you know, like if he was going to IC, Maui wouldn't have been that much more out of his way, like because we were already in Ice Palace. But then he went back, basically did like another trip in, and then ended up taking a little bit of extra time getting there, just because of, you know, the different like in terms of execution.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, but looks like okay. So maybe, you know, maybe the true believers of Dunka stats, you know, we didn't have to go into Skull Woods today in order to get anything. But looks like our requisite fire or ice rod is going to be somewhere here in this dungeon itself.
Yeah, at least Rock and better hope it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Moogle also using Bombos on Cold Stare. Looks like he wants a couple of extra fire rod shots.
Yeah, get him in the left corner. Just helps with the splash damage. You see that's still okay. You can take one more hit. Oh, maybe 2 more with red mail actually. I'm not even sure.
Right, yeah, good point. Yeah, Moogle came in here after Thieves Town, so yeah, he was even safer.
Yeah, to like kind of touch on the discussion chat. Yeah, I think they were both thought they were getting the boost the first try with the small key. I think that's why Relkin was like so upset about the armor on blind, because he's like exactly what you said, Clearmouse. I didn't quite catch that at the time, but he just left after Bombos, not had done all that other crap. All right, now the question is, do we have to go? Being able to skip chomps is always nice, but it does not look like that's the case today. Yeah, so decent RNG though. What do we got? Big key? Okay, well, that's not too bad. Maybe you can save the big key chest if the ice rod's not in there.
Yeah, not often you get to do chomps like with actually a good amount of health and red mail for that matter. Like certainly much safer than, you know, the normal NMG like green mail, and then you end up getting, you know, like nicked by the chomps and then another nick and then you're just dead.
Nice. It looks like we are at least stealing the key.
Yeah, Moogle also rushing the mountains, so even more reason to suspect that the ice rod is somewhere here further on in Turtle Rock. But kind of as a good comparison point, Moogle does need to still open up Turtle Rock as the dungeon, but Relkin's probably got at least half a dungeon's worth.
Okay, so he hit the switch, so that means the ice rod is not in Mimic Cave. Unless he just, autopiloted that.
Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, in terms of tournament structure, this is a double elimination best of one. So whoever is going to be, so neither runner is going to be out of the tournament, regardless of results in this case. It just happens to be that in this case, Relkin or Moogle is going to get, one of them is going to get relegated to the losers bracket. Not that the losers bracket really means much, other than probably you have to play more matches, in the course of the tournament, because as you said, Matt, like all 16 players are ridiculously strong, so it's not like you're gonna get a couple of like cupcake opponents once you kind of drop down there.
Yeah, it's a really really brutal top 16. Like, the tournament didn't have a ton of participation, but like all the good people who play Spoiler a lot are all playing it, so it's not like the top 16 would be that much different if a 10 more people had played.
Yeah. I mean, I think in overall, as you said, the Spoiler Log, racer, I guess, a sub-community or whatnot, the field is not that big, but holy cow, the field strength is ridiculous. It's definitely not like, maybe your casual boots or whatever. There is the ice rod on Laser Bridge, of course. Another safety? Oh, he needs a small peak, right.
Yeah, making good use of that cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of safeties, I think, saw some discussion on chat. I don't believe Relkin has anything in his bottles. He got a couple of extra empty ones off of bosses. Did not ever release that bee that he got from Mini Moldorm Cave. Versus Moogle, he hasn't used his blue potion yet that he ended up buying. So, but again, sometimes just having that safety, as you mentioned earlier, right, is just peace of mind. Lets you basically just play without worrying of dying. Speaking of worrying of dying, Google.
Sorry. Oh yeah, he's got the cave. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, even Red Mail here would not have saved him.
Yeah, the thing about buying blue potions is it feels real bad when you die with them in your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Right, nice try next there on Relkin's side. So the only question is there a silver arrow somewhere?
Mm-hmm. That might have been Relkin's third heart piece. I want to say that if once Moogle gets that, he might be on 4 heart pieces. I'm trying to remember where he got the third one, but I think he ended up getting one maybe from Eastern.
The real pro move is when you can time it. So there's a piece of heart in the pre-Moldorm chest, so you can get a refill before the Ganon fight. That's always the best way to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so we are headed to GTs. Look like Relkin's got about a 2-ish minute lead.
Yeah, that kind of looks like it. Basically the back of Turtle Rock, right?
Yeah, not safe, but comfy, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Moogle though, I mean, also again, he even though he does have the potion, he probably doesn't want to burn it here in the back of Turtle Rock. With Red Mail, 3 hearts is probably okay. At least he's gonna take 1 hit, from most things, just because Red Mail is just that powerful. But again, this is something that you just want to still be careful about.
Alright, looks like Big Key must be over here on the left side somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise it's probably just faster to go right.
Okay, we're going down.
So, rando room? Firebar room? Or not firebar, fire snake room?
Potentially. Oh, nice hook up there. Is it here? Yes. Okay. Is there? Okay, we're keeping going. So I guess we're getting silver arrows.
Maybe silvers are here. Yeah. This is probably the only thing that's even remotely worth Relkin's time. And if silvers are here in random room, honestly, it's actually probably a good investment.
Yeah, but the other thing is that if he's watching the restream and he knows his lead is significant, if there's like 2 heart containers in here. You might see him grab that. Okay, no, it's just the silvers. Okay, but that's true. He also doesn't have a key, but I'm assuming there's just one in mini helmet room or something.
Also, okay, let us hope that is the case. It is certainly not the first time if people had forgotten that they needed a key to come up here, but I think in this case I would just trust relkin to know what he's doing. Very, very interesting mimic maneuvering on his side. It's almost like he was dancing. Alright, Moogle though, yeah, trying to fight, got a little bit of ice on the ground. Not too big of a deal though, but I think it's just even, just a little by little. Not going to be able to claw back as much time as probably Moogle needs to in order to at least make a dent into his deficit against Relkin.
Yeah, here we're about to find out if Relkin is a real gamer or not. Well, I'll call him half a gamer from that. It was pretty good. It was a good attempt.
It's it's just the red mail, honestly. I think that's just really what like threw him off his game.
That's true. It's heavy. He can't quite get through those cannonballs.
He's certainly acting like he's red mail. I don't think he has been so like cavalier about basically just taking any amount of damage here in Gauntlet.
Yeah, pretty much all the stuff just does 1 heart. He's got tons of health.
Yeah, tons of health, red mail. Did switch out of silver arrows for what it's worth. Definitely gonna reduce the lag a little bit, but we're gonna switch them right back on for Landmos.
Nice.
Yeah, always really great to see the success the first time. It is quite difficult to recover if you end up missing the first or second or third shots. Oh, uncharacteristic miss on the Stalfos room, the Wizrobes.
You see the head shake, another benefit of the cameras.
Alright, redemption at least for Wizrobes too. Moogle though, on his way climbing the or whatever, looking for the GT Vicky in the basement. Slightly different strats though, gonna use the Cane of Samari instead. I'm kind of curious to know where that half magic is. Not that in this case I think would have been super necessary. Might have been nice early game, but it's not going to be too big of a deal now.
Nice torches here. Alright, let's see where this extra small key is. Just gotta get one from the mini helmet and we'll opt for the damageless strat. Okay, we're safe. Alright, do we get the gamer piece of heart out of the pre-Moldom chest? Is that what I'm about to see? Oh no. Maybe it's the post-Moldorm chest.
Yeah, maybe it's the Moldorm chest. Alright, also Silver's pickup for Moogle. Relkin, oh man, almost a little bit of close distance for Moldorm too, but otherwise gets it done. It's always really kind of scary to think about getting knocked off. No heart piece refill though for Relkin, so he is going into Ganon and Aga on 5 hearts red mail.
Yeah, it's still pretty comfy, I think. He's got a cape, which he can't use because he now has silver arrows. That's one of the benefits of silvers as well, is it lets you use that cape during if something goes wrong. Like you get bad bats, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, we don't even need torch glitch, right? No pressure for phase 4. Yeah, it's gonna be super nice.
Ooh, 2 cycle. There you go.
Nice, yeah. Some very nice patterns. And handled very well, of course.
What a gamer.
Yeah, Relkin is 1 Ganon fight away, basically, from claiming victory.
Yeah, Ganon be a little scary in rando because of the bats, honestly. But he's got a ton of safety and a ton of time as well.
Yeah, I don't know what Relkin's tendencies are in terms of like watching the restream. I know he probably doesn't watch it like from front to start, but especially if he ended up kind of taking a peek, right? You saw him taking a breath, kind of steeling himself for the fight. If he knows where he is, he just has to not mess up this fight, basically. Just play his game.
Not messing up. We got okay, well, it's pretty free 2 in 1.
All right.
Just up
Speaking
and hold
of,
the
yeah, the
wall.
cave doesn't even hug the wall. Just decided to take a little stroll around the arena.
Yeah, mooglecharm can get a look at the Ganon pattern. That's probably not going to help him at this
Yeah.
stage, just like the Aga 2 pattern, but it's still kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did see Relkin be able to get it 2 cycles, so that's at least something. Alright, yeah, of course. Phase 3 is not gonna matter for Moogle or Relkin, just because just like the Aga, blue ball patterns, right? Like, they are also fixed. Relkin on to phase 4.
Give me a tight triple. I
Yeah,
didn't
it
even
didn't look
think
like it was
about
gonna be a
it.
triple.
Right. Very nicely done. GG's to Relkin, who will take this game and move on in the upper bracket.
Yeah, very well played. Honestly, very well routed. Good decision on his part, especially, in Ice Palace for both himself and Moogle, right? Maybe, not quite seeing in this case that they could have gotten the boost like the first trip around because of the small key, but, very well recovered, right? You saw Relkin kind of make that, decision, like game time decision, and just went, right? And ended up doing quite well.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is a really interesting seed to route the beginning of. Like some very difficult decisions. Also, Zero, that includes the study time, though. This was like a 58, I think.
Yeah. Right. Actual playtime looks like it's actually like under an hour. Speaking of, though, we are joined by today's victor, Relkin. GG's, dude.
Hey, thank you, GG's.
Yo, GG's. All right, so what do we start with? Ice Palace? Like this was a horrible seed, by the way. But like, what was your plan going into ice? Because you picked up the armor, and then I saw you get pissed off when you got the armor off of blind because you were thinking like I could have just got the bombos and left. Were you just like not thinking about the key situation?
Yes, that wasn't the reason I was mad at blind, though. The reason I was mad because I did not read the pod keys correctly. There was a key in the compass chest in the back, and I didn't need to hover to right side of pod.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
We did later find
lame.
that out from Moogle. We were kind of wondering. But yeah, got to show off the hover, so not so bad, right?
I was glad I was able to get it at least. That was nice. And also the silly part, I'm pretty sure. Let me look at the log again. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the other chest on the right side also had a key, so I should have just gotten that key too, but I forgot.
Yeah, instead of going to the basement. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, although, so speaking of Moogle, though, it looks like we actually did get a forfeit from Moogle. Probably saw the dot done from Relkin, so definitely get your G's on chat from Moogle. He played, again, this was a very, very difficult seed, so he actually played quite well for what he had.
Yeah, that vitreous fight by Moogle was, oh man, that was pretty scary, and he did that without taking any damage, which was super impressive.
Yeah. And were you watching the restream or his or Moogle's stream at all, Relkin?
I was watching the restream, but I didn't tune in till like midway through basically, and I think we were tied in crystals by the looks of it when I tuned in.
Yeah, you guys took extremely different routes. Like after Moogle made the same mistake you did with Ice Palace and like realizing he didn't have a key, but then he went back in and got the boots and left, and then when he went to Meyer and got the mirror, he beat Meyer and then Desert at the same time, and then got his hammer. Whereas what you did leaving after ice, I guess ended up being a little bit faster because his trip through ice to get the boost was really slow, and you didn't get the boost that much later. But it was really interesting to kind of see the divergence and try to figure out who was ahead, because it was really hard for us to figure out who was ahead until very late in the season. I'm assuming when you tuned in, you were just like, well, what do I do with this information? Like, am I ahead or behind?
Right. I definitely was like, okay, I guess we're getting the boots later, whenever I realized, oh shoot, I'm going down right side and there's no key over here that I can get. So I just had to say, okay, I guess we're just gonna get the boots after we get the hammer, because I don't want to have to do a third dip of ice, basically.
Yeah, I think in the end that saved a decent chunk of time, although it was really hard to tell. But like, that was really the only mistake that you made. It was quite a well-played seed on your side, especially for like how strange it was. I imagine going through the log, you were just like, go through it and you make your route, and then you're just like, oh wait, I need bombos. Oh wait, bombos is an ice pals. I have to double dip ice pals. Like, that must have been kind of stressful.
Yeah. that realization was definitely like, oh man, are you kidding me? Well, maybe I can get boots while I'm in ice, but then I didn't even bother to check to see if I could get a key without the hammer, and I couldn't. So I just kind of like, well, I guess we're just gonna come back here later.
Yeah, overall, I think your decisions, honestly, to like double dip in this case, like ice. Well, maybe ice is forced in this case, but like leave Meyer after the mirror, like kind of is resulted you in having the rest of your boss fights basically just on tempered sword, right? And like very comfortable after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Moogle was ahead coming out of Light World. It was like very small, but there was like you guys were really on par for the first, I don't know, like 15 minutes, and it was just these decisions and the execution while performing those decisions that kind of gave you the decent sized gap we saw as you guys conversion TR. So I'll take a look at the bracket. This you got are you playing the winner of Andy and Aussie now? This is you got a tough spot in the bracket here for being the 1 seed.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like the 1 seed in Rando usually doesn't mean much.
Tell that to Dante.
For what it's worth, I mean, it is spoiler, so you do get a little bit, I think, of better variance potentially for seeding. It's not quite as random, but yes, I certainly do. I do agree with you. Still, though, you played very well, in my opinion. Quite well done. Also, yeah, going in, I think your early investment for heart containers also worked out pretty well. It didn't seem to be, I guess, you didn't seem to be too concerned in terms of like how you were playing execution-wise. Ended up, I think, not also buying like a potion or anything like that.
Yeah, I thought about getting a potion for like before Meyer, but then I was like, you know what? I think the smarter decision is to come back with like tempered sword and boots, so I can do spooky easily, and I could have an easier time on Biddy. And I even did desert before Meyer, so I could get the cape in case I needed it for Biddy. And then I did the NMG fight just fine. So I was like, well, I didn't need to do that.
Yeah, it's still sometimes kind of nice to have that in your pocket so you can play with confidence. But yeah, I think with the Meyer stuff, like his single dip of Meyer versus you coming back and doing that, I think it was pretty much a wash, just because his fight was very scary. He did it really well, but it was, you can't do it fast when you have no bombs and Master Sword and like 20 arrows.
Yeah, that's and I guess no health either, so you can't exactly like damage boost for a little bit. You kind of can't damage boost at all.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than that, well played. Best of luck in the the next round.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll see how that goes, because
it's full of gamers. The whole bracket's full of gamers.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Andy versus Aussie goes, because I feel like now, like a long time ago, I never dreamed of beating Aussie in some spoiler racer, but now I feel like I can beat him. But Andy, on the other hand, like he is like about the same like NMG execution level as me, and so if I gotta make sure I'm playing like to the best of that I can.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah, you either get to play the guy who won the last spoiler tournament or Andy. So either way, you gotta have your best game on.
Yeah.
Right, Clearmouse, you got anything else to add?
No, I think we're all good. Yeah. Thank you so much, Relkin, and thank you, Moogle, if you're listening, for putting on actually a really actually good race. And as Matt said, this was I mean, well, okay, definitely this is not a seed you want without a spoiler log, but also even with the spoiler log, it actually seemed pretty brutal. So really nicely done, Relkin, on your part.
Yeah, thanks again for restreaming, and thanks for commentary, Matt and Clearmouse. And I'm sorry, I do not know who's on tracker duty this time. Who is
that is
tracker?
Arturo. Yeah, Arturo has done a good amount of tracking for spoiler logs, so thank you again so much. He was quite on top of things in order to mark down everything, so thank you so much.
Yeah, there's I see some more of these matches getting put on the schedule, so there's a ton more spoiler log gaming coming this week, and I am looking forward to watching as much of it as I can.
Yo,
Yeah.
same. I hope I can watch some races.
Yeah, or commentate for that matter, Relkin. or
Uh,
track, you know, whatever. Whatever is good for you.
Whatever suits my fancy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just in terms of upcoming schedule, it looks like actually we have one in 12 hours, relatively, you know, give or take. Tomorrow morning, 10:15 a.m. Vortex versus Schultzer. That again should be pretty good. We've got Tuesday evening, 6:15, Zelga versus Asder. Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon, 2:15, Telethar versus Humbug. Yeah, talk about this entire bracket being absolutely stacked. Like you've heard of every single one of these names. These guys are always in the top, you know, whatever 4, 8, 2. You know, champion finishes of whatever tournament they decide to join in. So yeah, this is going to be some very high quality matchups and races. And of course, we are eagerly awaiting, of course, your own match, Matt versus T-Stu. So hopefully you're going to see that on the schedule relatively soon.
Yeah, I also hope that will happen.
But yeah, lots of rando upcoming. No channels assigned yet, but definitely keep your eye on the schedule for that. And again, thank you, Relkin. Thank you, Moogle. Thank you, Arturo, for tracking. Thanks, Kono and Amaranth for doing the setup, and of course, Matt. Thank you so much. This was a ton of fun.
To you as well. It's always a pleasure. And to everybody in chat, thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah, have a good night.